The majority of what you're experiencing physically is not due to a physical cause. Now, that's some potent truth from my dear brother, Dr. Brett Jones. Now, this is Dr. Brett's second time on the show. And if you heard his first episode, I think it was episode number 109, or you follow him on Instagram, you know what he's about. If you're new to him, buckle up. This episode is a little different than most episodes that I've offered because I have given Dr. Brett the space to drop in and deliver a channeled transmission that will shift your perspective on your mind and body. So tune in and learn about the two paradigms of health, the true cause of dis-ease, the three different minds within our mind, and how to discern between the three, and the most empowering perspective you can take when it comes to your mind and body. Dr. Brett Jones is a chiropractor, shamanpreneur, natural health advocate, transformation specialist, tattoo enthusiast, consciousness explorer, author, DJ, Black Santa, and family man. His unshakable purpose is to facilitate the reconnection of humanity to their ability to heal, live, and evolve naturally. Dr. Brett is the CEO of the Source Chiropractic and Kairos training culture and has taught principles of healing and consciousness in 13 different countries for over 5,000 chiropractors and chiropractic students worldwide. And he believes in you to be better every single day. Now, I highly recommend that you grab his book, Know Who the Fuck You Are. The link for that will be in the show notes. And speaking of books, my new book, Potent Leadership, will be released on July 13th, 2021. That is coming up this month. But right now, you can pre-order it. And by doing so, by putting in your pre-order, you'll be gifted with 3 bonus activation audios, plus complimentary access to 3 online training and Q&A sessions that I will be hosting live. Plus, you'll be entered to win a one-on-one coaching and mentorship session. So pre-order your copy of Potent Leadership today at potentleadership.com. Now, if you dig this podcast and you want to connect, please make sure you connect with me on Twitter and Instagram at IamRuby, or on my Telegram, which you can connect with at rubyfremon.com/Telegram. Alternatively, you can also text Potent Truth, hashtag Potent Truth, to 1781-336-0160, and you'll be texting with me directly. Now, before we go any further, please take a moment to pause. Hit pause, download a few episodes. I recommend downloading 3, and drop a rating and review on iTunes. Every single download, every single rating, every single review helps get this podcast out to more leaders around this world. So if you appreciate the messages that I share, please do me a favor and drop a rating and review, and download a few episodes right now. Now it is time to talk about mind-body intelligence with Dr. Brett Jones. Beyond the narrative, underneath the veil of illusion, and deep within your center, therein lies potent truth. Welcome to Potent Truth, where today's leaders, change makers, and light carriers come together to question the narrative, arrive at potent truth, and lead with sovereignty. What is potency? It's who you are beneath the masks, facades, and protective gear. It's the medicine humanity yearns for, cries out for, prays for, and needs. Your potency is what sets you apart, magnetizes your following, and creates movements. Join me, Ruby Fremon, for weekly guidance, channeled messages, and potent conversations that will take you on a journey of self-discovery. I am here to guide you to a place of unraveling the programming that's been keeping us stuck for generations, unlocking potent truth and expressing it through sovereign leadership. It's time for change. It's time for potent truth. Hey leaders, welcome to another episode of Potent Truth. And today I have with me a returning guest, someone who's on the show with me in year 2. And I believe it was episode number 109. This is a dear, dear friend of mine, my adopted brother, my soul brother, my cosmic brother, brother from another lifetime. I don't really know, but all I know is that we are siblings. And every time we get together, our discussions go deep. So with that being said, Dr. Brett Jones, welcome to Potent Truth. Super excited to dive deep with you today.
Whoa, happy to be back on. Yeah, I think it would have been 2019.
Yeah.
That we were also, it's been almost exactly 2 years. And not only has the world changed, we've changed. And so it's exciting to be back on and join you and see what comes through today.
Yeah, from a fellow lover of evolution. We've seen a lot of evolution, not just in our external world, but in each of our internal worlds. And we're continuing to observe that evolution happening at what feels like a quicker pace these days.
Yeah.
Like people are being forced into the evolution. I know I was. I felt like I was being guided and at the same time pushed into it.
Yeah.
And at the same time, knowing that the evolution is also a choice, right? We can choose to just continue going at the pace that we're given, or we can continue to elevate that pace for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what has it been like? I mean, for those of you who have yet to follow Dr. Brett Jones online, you are in for a treat. Make sure you go follow him. For those of you who are familiar with Dr. Brett Jones, he is no stranger to speaking up against what's happening in the world and taking a real stand for sovereignty of mind, sovereignty of body, sovereignty of spirit, as well as natural health. And I think one of the things that I'd love to start with is just why is natural health, or why did natural health become such an integral part of your calling, of your life?
Yeah. It's a great start. And let's drop in some intentions here for those that are listening, and thank you for those that are dedicating your time and your energy and joining us and being open to receive information. And I guess let's start there, that we're setting a strong intention that the channels are open, and in that opening there's a willingness to let go of perspective. Right? It's perspective that actually will lock us into one reality, and there's multiple that exist at any given time. And so in the willingness, in opening of the perspective, we now get an opportunity to create a whole new life. And going back to Ruby's question is in why natural health is, I have discovered for self that is the more empowering reality. That is the more empowering perspective. We're working with two main paradigms, right? There's multiple, but two main ones. One is your body, right, is weak. It's unintelligent. It needs support from the outside in to heal, and that it needs some expert to tell it what to do. The other perspective is that your body is divinely intelligent, that it heals from the inside out, and that it needs no help, just no interference to that immaculate wisdom. And why I choose natural health is I've gotten to feel like yourself. For those that haven't connected to Ruby's story, please do. All the pitfalls and the downfalls of the Western medicine side. I got to see it for myself. I got to see it for my loved ones, for my father. When you continue, again, to really give your power away and often run from the things you need to heal. And so why I choose nature and why I choose natural health is because I'm interested in healing as a primary. And I believe a lot of our society, a lot of humanity has lost touch of what it means to heal. we're used to being managed, right? Meaning that if I have a certain symptom, that relief of that symptom becomes the primary instead of why is the symptom there? So healing is revealing your wholeness. And to reveal your wholeness, you have to discover why you're experiencing what you're experiencing. So if I don't extract the lesson from the symptom or the pain, right, then I'm not healing. And so much of really even all forms of care, because there's natural forms of care that still focus on symptom mitigation and symptom reduction. And to me, again, that's still not approaching healing. You need to discover why you're experiencing what you're experiencing. And here's the thing that will blow most people's minds. The majority of what you experience physically is not due to physical cause, right? The majority of what you experience physically is not due to physical cause. The actual majority is going to be mental, emotional, and everything is sourced in energy. So 100% of your issues are due to an energetic imbalance or deficiency or a surplus, if you will, lack of harmony. 80 to 90% is due to either mental stress, imbalance, or emotional stuckness. So not being in flow with your emotions, which is energy in motion. So I'm interested in healing. I'm interested in learning. I'm interested in evolving. And I feel like nature is one of the greatest teachers. And so if we start to realize that there is an intelligence within, and it doesn't take a lot of introspection to discover, no, the body is intelligent. What do you mean the body is intelligent? Well, shit, I have this thing called the autonomic nervous system, meaning that there are all of these functions happening in my body without me having to think about it, right? So you don't have to think about controlling your blood pressure. You don't have to think about changing your heartbeat and where the blood goes when you're in sympathetic tone and the blood going to the skeletal muscles instead of the internal organs. You don't have to think about when you're digesting what you had for breakfast, what kind of cell is being replaced and what kind of cell is dying, because death is part of nature. If you didn't have cellular death, you wouldn't be alive. You don't have to think about any of those things. They just happen. Right? Millions of cellular processes happening every second. And you start to discover, well, shit, well, the more I look into it, maybe the body is intelligent. Well, if it's so damn intelligent, it's more intelligent than your educated mind, I can guarantee you that. Why don't I honor it? And then maybe you start to do that introspection and discovery for self. And then you start to realize, well, shit, nature makes no mistakes either. Nature is also intelligent. In the ecology, there's certain cycles, and they exist for certain reasons. And every time you try to manipulate it, you'll end up worse off. Right? There was a food documentary that was done, and it was a couple. I think they were in LA, right? And then they went and they started this organic farm. I think it was called Little Big Farm. I think it was Little Big Farm. And what they realized very quickly, right, is one, diversity, which I think would be a good topic to get into as well, because especially diversity of thought, which is lacking right now. The more diverse they made their farm, the better it was. And that every problem had a solution within itself. And if you tried to remove one thing, you would end up with another problem, right? We see this, when they got rid of the wolves, and then you ended up with all these other issues, or you try to get rid of one species of animal, or you try to get rid of one species of plant, and there is a harmony that is needed, and it needs to be studied and honored instead of educatedly manipulated. So when it comes to why natural health is one, I believe it's a more empowering perspective that our bodies are self-healing, self-organizing, and intelligent. And that the more I connect with it, the more I can discover how to heal. And in healing, I'm revealing who I really am and getting the lessons, getting the wisdom so that I can continue to evolve.
Mm. Beautiful. Beautiful. It's always amazing to hear you tap in and channel and just let it rip. And I really wanted to start there because I want everyone listening to understand where we're coming from first, before we dive into everything else. As someone who also deeply values natural health and our body's incredible ability to heal naturally when we just let it be,
Mm-hmm.
I think that this is something that now more than ever has become an opportunity for a lot of humanity. And you touched on the mind and how we want to dive into that as well, because we've talked about the body and how it's this beautiful, divinely orchestrated machine that understands what it needs to do to keep it running. But we also have these minds right now, and there's a lot happening within the minds of our collective at this point in time. Um, so let's start to dive into the mind and the connection that has to our body, to nature, to our collective. Because as you and I both know personally, the mind plays a huge influence on what's happening in our physical selves, as well as our external worlds, the worlds that we are living.
100%. One, I think we start with, what is mind?
Mm-hmm.
What is mind? Mind is not your brain. And that's probably one of the biggest confusions. Mind is not your brain. Mind is not your brain. Mind is not your brain. What the fuck are you talking about? Mind is not your brain. Mind is not your brain. So similar, right, to how a TV set or even your computer screen, right, needs to, well, let's go with the TV set analogy. TV set, and say let's go with the satellite, right? So you have satellite TV. There's information that is being drawn, collected, if you will, and then being sent through the TV, and then boom, image comes up. But the TV itself, right, is not generating the image. It's actually set up in a way with its circuitry to be able to portray that image on the screen, but it itself is not creating the image. The image is coming from the information. It's the same way your brain works. Your brain is a transducer of information coming in. And there's multiple types of information. So when you say mind, you have the small self mind, that which is most associated with, this is interesting. So this is new. This is coming through. Most interested are most related to what you've experienced. Okay. So when it comes to personal self, ego, identity, your own personal reality, that thought stream, if you will, and I like that word, that thought stream that is most commonly referencing past, right? Because if I completely wiped away your past, you'd have no sense of identity.
Mm-hmm.
So the small self, mind, thought stream is primarily associated with your life experiences. That is one aspect of mind, which is going to be, again, more information. This is actually new too. Mind is a grid, right? Mind is a grid let's not go with grid. Mind is an organization portal. There we go. Mind is an organization portal, and one of those streams of portals, right, is going to be most configured with life that you previously lived in, and that is what you can then call your ego, your personal personality, personal reality, your identity, and its associated past. That's only one aspect of mind. Mind is also your soul, right? So soul is also has this aspect of mind. Now, soul, right, has existed since existence. I'll say it again. Soul has existed since existence, meaning that the body that you currently identify with, and you maybe give it a name, right? You have Ruby, you have Brett, you have whoever the fuck ever, right? That has only existed since this perception of this lifetime. This perception of this lifetime, and then it remembers itself based on its past experiences. But you also are a soul. Now, that soul has incarnated in many forms in various lifetimes and has existed since existence. That also has a mind. And again, right now we're utilizing the imagery of mind being a portal of information, a stream of information, an organization of information. Okay. So that's also an aspect that you can tap into. In my book, Know Who the Fuck You Are, I talk about how to differentiate the two. Because and the quick and easy for this podcast is they sound different. Mm-hmm. They sound different, right? For those of you that are more auditory, some of you listen to your spiritual gifts in different ways, right? So some of you will just have a knowing. Some of you will have a feeling. Some of you will see images. That'd be called clairvoyant, right? Some of you taste and sense things differently. But most of you also hear. And when I say hear, right, you're used to hearing about, well, we have that monkey mind, right? The thoughts that are always coming in, right? The inner voice. Well, one of those inner voices is the egoic mind. And what I discovered for myself, and this can be different for different people, is the egoic mind is usually higher pitch. It just has its own tone. Right. And every time the egoic mind speaks, it's speaking to me based on past references of this lifetime, meaning that it's extremely limited. Mm-hmm. Extremely limited. Think about this. Your lifespan on Earth is a fucking blip on the map of universal existence. Even on human existence, it's infinitesimally small. Okay. And you're going to trust your educated mind on this lifetime over something that you could connect to with the solar mind or the soul mind? I don't think so. I don't suggest it. So soul mind is also, right, something that we can tap into. It has a different sound, has a different imagery, has it's a different portal of information. So there's another aspect of mind. But guess what? You're also the all intelligence. So by the way, we talked about self, the small self, lower cap self. Then you have the capital S self. You can call that your soul. And then you have the all capital self, which you can call spirit. And I like that organization of it. And I did listen to that from Paul Chek. And I so respected Paul Chek for creating that flow of words, if you will. And so you also have the all capital self, which is your ability to connect to all. And actually, this is new information that came through recently. They will be connected to the development of your chakra system. So we primarily will start lower and work higher. There are some rare breeds that just come in open crowns. Well, all children come in open crowns, and then they have to learn how to integrate open crown and actually develop identity. But then after the ages of like 3 to 6, now you start looking at, okay, now they have personal identity, personal reality, and they can actually remember past experiences of this lifetime. And they start to build on that. Now they start working from the root and then going up to the sacral chakra and going up again to the manipura or the solar plexus, and then into the heart, into the throat. And throat's usually going to be somewhere like 18 to 25-ish. And then you're working third eye and crown, potentially. But some of us, most of us don't continue evolving in this process. But the reason I'm mentioning these things is that what I've started to discover is that soul activation and listening has a big tie to throat chakra and third eye. And then connecting to the all capital self, spirit, all consciousness mind is mainly crown. And so when you are connecting to the spirit consciousness, the spirit mind, the all capital self mind, this is where discernment is very fucking important. So the soul will always be an asset to you. Okay. Solar intelligence is constructive in your life. It's an ally in your life. It's always looking out for your best interest, and it knows better than your egoic mind. This is important. Listen, please, pause, breathe. All consciousness, also called universal intelligence, is both constructive and destructive. It doesn't take too many journeys, if you will, to realize, and you can do it in various forms. It's not all through plants. It can be done through breath work and fasting. But it doesn't take too many altered states of consciousness to realize that the spirit world is as terrifying as it is blissful. And so when you start opening up crown, you're opening yourself up to everything. And this is where you need to discern why. One, I think intention is very important. Intention creates the blueprint of the information that comes in. I'll say it again. That's good. Intention creates the blueprint of the information that comes in. So when you start opening up crown, start connecting to the all mind, it's very important to have strong boundaries and strong intentions of what you're calling in. Because this is where you'll get benevolent and malevolent entities, if you will, energies, sources of information. Going back, that was a lot. That was potent. I'm glad I'm on the Potent Truth podcast because that was potent. That was even a lot for me. By the way, if you're listening to this and you're like, what the fuck is happening right now? It's okay. Because even for me, that was a lot. And again, so I'm grateful for Ruby. Ruby holds some of the best, I'll say it right now, Ruby holds the best space I've ever been around. She does. And even though she's quiet right now, she's working. And thank you, Ruby, is what I'm saying. So it's going back to mind in its relationship to body. And mind actually in relationship to all, and in relationship to nature, which then you can also get in relationship to the human. So your mind, right, which we've already identified is not brain, has the ability. This is good too. This is new. I think we've had 4 new things drop in into the field. By the way, and I think this is also a good thing to just to give some space to. Where the fuck do new ideas come from? Right? Where the fuck do new ideas come from? Have you ever asked yourself that? Because it always happens, you know, for most, right? It happens like at weird times, right? They're taking a shit or a shower, or riding a bike or whatever, you know what I mean? Like a weird, weird thing, or weird times you got these new ideas come in. For those that have really trained this, you can open up the channel, but ask yourself, where's a new idea? It's not generated from your brain, right? It's not generated. It's sure as hell it's not generated from your egoic mind. So it's usually when you're honoring soul or spirit. I'll say that again. That's new. New ideas, creative thoughts, right, which go beyond your current reality, will often come in when you're honoring your soul and your spirit. Because your soul, by the way, is always trying to recommend the things that you need to do. Some of you are having a hard time listening. And so the lessons always start as a whisper. And they turn into a roar if you don't listen, right? And that can show up in many ways. So mind and its relationship to body. Well, body is a reflection of your mind. Your perception of your body is a perception of your mind. That's trippy. That's a trippy statement.
That really is.
I'm going to say it like 2 more times. And it's good because it's on. Your perception of your body is your perception of your mind. I think that's right. So what the fuck does that mean? You are energy. Right? You're actually mainly empty space. Mainly empty space. What's that mean? Well, if you break yourself down to the smallest matter and going into quanta, right, subatomic, even subatomic particles. Well, in an atom, you'll have a neutron, an electron, and in that electron valence shell, it's mainly empty space. And so if you're mainly these neutrons and electrons, you realize, well, if I'm that, it's mainly empty space. How much so? Well, if you were actually look about how much space that is between the neutron, the middle of this atom, and going out to the electron, it'd be like a peanut shell in a baseball stadium. Now, if you actually break down how much actual matter you are, this blew my mind. The entire human race, right, could fit into the size of a sugar cube. I was like, fucking no way. Yes, way. Yo, why do things feel so heavy then? All these material objects, right, that we know are mainly energy, if you break them down. Why does it take on mass? Wavelength, right? Because different energetic wavelength, this is no mass. How do we know that? Look at X-rays, right? There are different energies, are different wavelengths of energies that easily penetrate what we think is heavy or has matter. Stay with me. You're mainly energy. You're mainly empty space. Not only you're mainly energy, you are all energy. I'll say that again. You are all energy. Mainly empty space. So you are energy in organized or disorganized, harmonic or unharmonic information. Simply put, your mind is what helps give organization. And there's an intelligence here. Now, this I'm working through in this moment, so you'll get to hear me work through this. So that which actually organizes is the intelligence within, right? Signs of intelligence is signs of organization. So anywhere you see organization, that's how you know there's an intelligence. Mm-hmm. Okay. So intelligence is providing the organization. So there's a triune here, right? There's a triune here, mind, body, spirit. You've also been called force, matter, intelligence. But let's go with mind, body, spirit. I think it's going to be a little more honoring. When you hear spirit, think intelligence. So the intelligence is organizing the information. The mind can channel the information. The body integrates the information. There we go. Boom. The intelligence organizes the information. The mind can channel the information. We talked about portals. I like portals right now. It's a good word for it. Portals or channel. The mind can channel information. We already talked about at least 3 different vibrations you can connect to: the egoic mind, the soul mind, and the spirit mind. And we said the most important piece of the spirit mind is discernment. And the body integrates the information. Spirit organizes, or intelligence organizes. The mind channels, or portals. The body integrates. So your body ends up being a reflection of your mind, and it's what can give you the indicators, primarily through feelings, of when you are out of alignment, when you have dissonance, right? When you have, it's not really ever a lack of organization, because the intelligence is always there, but it's organizing based on the information you're channeling with the mind. So what are you giving? What are you ordering up with the intelligence? And then the body is integrating. Let's give us an example to help it ground. And by the way, if it's not feeling grounded, it's because it's being worked through. Stay with me. So the body experiences a symptom. What's a symptom? One, a lesson that has yet to be revealed. Two, it's a feeling. Okay. By the way, a symptom can be an emotion, because an emotion is also a feeling. But let's go with physical right now. So I'm experiencing a right shoulder issue, right? Or what I perceive as a right shoulder issue. That is, alerting me that something is off, right? There's a lesson that has yet to be revealed. So what in my life, right, do I need to potentially alter or adapt to so that I can become more whole? And so the body will give us indicators. So this would be like bottom up. You also have top down. Give us indicators and feelings of when we are not living life in alignment. And then it's up to us, this is good, to channel the information through mind and then trust the intelligence to organize it. When you most commonly use the educated mind, you'll continue to repeat the past. That's good. Why? Because the educated mind is most connected to the past. What's a sign of dis-ease, by the way? Disease. Stuck pattern. I learned that from my mentor, Marvin Talski. A stuck and repeating pattern is what often leads to sickness and disease and dis-ease. You can think about that emotionally, right? You can think about that in relationship. You can think about that physically. You can think about that mentally. It's when you're stuck in a repeating pattern that you often experience the most disturbance in your field. We are meant to be dynamic, adapting, integrating, and evolving. Dynamic, adapting, integrating, and evolving. That's our human nature. That is nature. Mm-hmm. And the unfortunate piece, that was, okay, I think we can give that space. That was a lot there. Whoo, shit.
we got to chunk up this information here.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Yeah.
I think in short, we're so used to almost like referring to our minds, like, what is my mind telling me? And perhaps that's the wrong question. What is my body telling me? Mm-hmm. What is spirit telling me? And right now, the way that I see it is a call for all of us to return back into our bodies, to return back into an embodied state, to return back to mm-hmm. spirit, because we've been living in the quote unquote educated mind space for far mm-hmm. too long. And that has gotten us into a place where we have a society of people suffering from dis-ease on many different levels. Some are even completely unaware of it because that dis-ease has become their normal. Mm-hmm. We're actually at close to wrapping up this episode, and I really just want to give you an opportunity. There was a lot of information that was transmitted.
Yeah.
I want you to let's see how we can wrap this up in a
I can do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I believe in you. I know you can do this.
So what we need is simplicity here, right? Because we went, that's probably the quickest I went deep on a podcast. So again, that one you could probably re-listen to I would probably re-listen to it 3 times. Jesus Christ. So that one you probably listen to for a while. And by the way, you don't have to, let's drop this little lesson on learning, and then we're going to simplify kind of the steps from here. A little lesson in learning. Anytime you experience what I call an aha, right? Your field already changed. So there's nothing that you need to remember. What we're looking for is field attunement, which is different, which means that and by the way, everybody has this meter within self of when they know something is true, right? Carries a universal truth, and when something's off. And the more open and clear you get, the more active that is, and the more apparent it is. But we all have it. And so don't think that you need to memorize by any means the different levels and things that I was talking about. You don't. If you felt that sense of aha, then the field's already changed. You're different. Accept it. To simplify lessons from this, we know that minds have been hijacked. Just straight up. When I say hijacked, I mean, people have relinquished thinking for themselves. And when you say thinking for themselves, what does that mean in regards to what we've talked about on this lesson? Is they've given their power away, and they've accepted one main portal of information. You are infinite in nature. And the question you have to come back to, and it's the same reason that I chose nature, and it's the same reason Ruby chooses nature. What's the most empowering perspective? Right? If the portal of information that you're receiving, really from a borrowed mind, which is now a government mind, right? Which is now a very specific narrative mind. If that mind that you've been connecting to, imagine yourself just plugging into, I'm just going to plug into this mind and let it tell me how to think and how to behave. And by the way, we talked about how your mind is your body, right? It's a reflection of it. If you don't feel good in your body, if you don't feel empowered in your body, you have to choose to cut the cord from that portal of information and say, I'm taking my power back. And it's a fucking statement just like that. And if you've noticed in your body, all you have to do is say this statement and fucking mean it, and it's done. It's done. By the way, it can change just like that, and it does every fucking day. I'm taking my power back. And when you take your power back, you unplug from that mind that was creating disempowerment, which was creating mental slavery. You said, fuck that. I want none of that. I'm way less healthy now than I was back in 2019. I want none of that shit anymore. It's as easy as that. It's done. And you say, you know what? I'm opening up my own portal. I'm connected to my soul. And my soul always honors me. And when I'm self-empowered, when I'm connected, when I feel loved, when I feel strong, when I feel able, when I feel intelligent, I get to be that for others. So now imagine yourself in that center, serving, giving, loving out of a sense of abundance, because that's what you are. And watch the world change. And it's as easy as that.
Oh, that was powerful. And I'm sure that everyone listening, you felt that. Really allow that to sink in. Don't just hear it. Don't just hear the words. Allow it to sink in and be integrated, mind, body, and spirit. Because that is what we all need now, today, is that integration of what we know to be true, so that we can, like you said, disconnect from that other portal of information and reconnect to our divine portal. Brett, thank you so much for these potent transmissions today. So good. I'm definitely going to be sharing the link to your book for everyone listening. Highly recommend getting Brett's book and putting that into practice. He's laid it all out in a really simple, easy to follow format that is truly going to provide an epic transformation for you. So definitely get the book. And Brett, where can people connect with you online?
The easiest way currently is at Dr. Brett Jones on Instagram. And then drbrettjones.com is also a website.
Awesome. Well, Brett, as always, thank you. I honor you. I honor who you're being. I honor your presence. I honor your voice. I honor your channel. And I'm just so grateful to have you in my life and for you to have taken the time to share your presence and wisdom with my community here. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And to our listeners, thank you for joining us for an episode of Potent Truth, where we're taking you on a journey to challenge illusion and lead with sovereignty. In addition to following Brett and grabbing his book, you can always shout out to me online at I am Ruby and pre-order your copy of Potent Leadership today, potentleadership.com. And then make sure you check back Monday for a brand new episode. Aho, family. Thank you so much.